Hey everybody, here's my review and walkthrough of the Hasegawa F111 aardvark. This was my first plane kit in a while since I'm mostly an armor modeler, but because my local model club is hosting a competition for Vietnam era aircraft, I always love to participate and I thought it'd be a good time to try a plane kit for the first time in a while. I really didn't want to do an F4 Phantom or MiG-21 because I knew that would be the majority of planes entered, and I wanted a way for people, for my model to stand out from just the basics of being a different plane. And also, I really love the camouflage of Vietnam era aircraft, of the two different greens and then the sort of sandy brown. When I painted it, I used, for the greens, I used NATO green and dark green 2 from Tamiya. They aren't that different from each other. The bottles look quite different, which is why I chose them. So, but overall, they didn't really appear very different, but that's okay to me. Then I used Vallejo Air Sand Brown for the sandy brown color. I don't remember why I have that color, but it just ended up being perfect for the job. And I also used Vallejo Model Air Silver for the thrusters in the back, which both look really cool, and for the fuel dump valve. I decided to do the 410-gallon fuel tanks on both sides. I post shaded using NATO green and dark green 2. Can't really see it right on video, but it looks pretty good in real life. For being my first plane kit in a while, I really did not enjoy doing lots of the decals. As you can see, there's quite a bit on here. That's probably the biggest difference between planes and armor, is that there's a ton of decals. I loved how they turned out. It just wasn't my idea of fun in terms of a kit. I did it on both sides. And for some reason, the US Air Force markings are not on both wings. So if you're wondering, that's what that's about. And the vertical stabilizer looks pretty good. I feel like I did a good job on the decals. That is probably the best part of this kit, are the decals. And the cockpit is also quite detailed. I left this removable. So as you can see in there, it's kind of hard to see. But I think I did a very good job on the cockpit for not being an aircraft modeler. The main panel is quite sunken in the cockpit, so that is why I can't see it. I just really liked the kit. It went together okay. The wings were probably the hardest to fit into the plane, and yeah, that was a nightmare to put in because the connection points were like an inch inside the plane, and it was impossible to orient the wings correctly. And for the red lines, I used Mission Models Rot Brown color, which brushed surprisingly well, and I loved how that turns out. It's just a nice little paint detail. I also did it on the back of the wings. And I also decided to make a concrete pad display base. I can't really see it that well on camera, but I textured it with Tamiya putty and then airbrushed it German gray, and I just used a basic cardboard base for it. But yeah, that's my review of the Hasegawa F111 aardvark. Overall, I enjoyed my experience for a plane, but I don't think I would recommend it for be more of a beginner modeler looking for an easy build. But if you want sort of a more challenging build for from a break from the model kits that go together like Legos, then I'd recommend this. And it's really detailed, as you can see from the panel lines. Those were really fun to pin wash. That's one of the things I greatly enjoyed from a plane that's not as apparent on armor models. The landing gears were very complex, as the F111 is known for, but I assume that's not going to be a big deal for other planes. But yeah, great kit. Would probably rate it like a 7 or 8 out of 10 on the fun scale. And yeah, and also in the comments, I would love to hear recommendations for anything I could do to this model to make it better, because I do want to win the competition. I think I could at least make it in the third or second place, but there's some guys in my model club that really love planes. So yeah, I would love to hear tips for planes in the future if I ever build any. And on my channel, you will probably expect to see more tanks and a plane every once in a while. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I would love to hear tips about planes since I am not that knowledgeable in this area.